measuring stick just changed around here, buddy. You're looking at it.
You are now listening to the Outsiders Podcast, the most exciting and hard-hitting show on the net. And now, bringing it hard as always on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL, here are your hosts, Clint Schweitzer and Noah Groniger.
And welcome everyone to the Outsiders Podcast. Clint Schweitzer alongside Noah Groniger. Welcome to our Super Bowl Super Show, Noah. Can we be any more excited?
Sean Salisbury. That's a lot of S's there.
Oh my goodness, that is a tongue twister. And we do have Sean Salisbury coming up to talk about the Super Bowl. And who better to break down this game with than the man?
Nobody!
He's the best around.
That he is.
Sean is the
Always.
man. Cannot wait to catch up with him. He's been down in New Orleans this week doing some work for CBS Radio for the game, and I cannot wait to get him on. We're going to ask him all sorts of Super Bowl-related questions.
I saw him down there with Tiki Barber, Amani Toomer, Christian Okoye.
Where were we? Why aren't we there?
We lost the competition to be there, so instead we're in the studio right now.
Well, that's okay. We're going to enjoy the game from afar, enjoying the game from the fabulous Superdome in New Orleans. Of course, I believe the Superdome has hosted more Super Bowls than any other venue, which is a great and entertaining fact to bring to you here.
Next year it'll be in MetLife Stadium.
That's going to be weird.
That will.
That's going to be crazy because
cold in New York.
Cold weather. I'm just surprised they didn't make that new MetLife billion-dollar stadium a retractable roof, but we're going to go in the elements next year. This year we'll just keep it at Bourbon Street, have us some hurricanes, and have us a time. I'll be honest with you, the Super Bowl game itself does not have the luster to me.
The allure.
We're going to ask Sean about what the atmosphere is down there because I just don't see... I don't know if it's just me because I just this game to me does not pop off the screen to me.
I mean, we haven't heard much about the game all week. We've been hearing about Ray Lewis, and the deer antler spray and his murder back in 2000, alleged, that he got off with. And we've been hearing about the 49ers and Ravens coach, Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh brothers. But we haven't heard much about the actual analysis of the game.
Well, I think we could definitely provide that. I think this is going to be a defensive game. I think that San Francisco is kind of the new Ravens defense.
So are you saying defense wins championships?
Defense does win championships.
So it's going to be 44-41? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think it's going to go that high.
Oh.
I somehow don't think it's going to be that high. I think a defense might win a championship and an offense could win this game. And the way Colin Kaepernick is playing in that zone read with Colin Kaepernick, the way they're running that, I just love the way they're doing it. I think San Francisco wins this game. Or, I would not be shocked. Baltimore, Ray Lewis, Team of Destiny, Ed Reed. Nothing's going to shock me here, but I just don't... This doesn't pop up the screen to me like, for instance, a Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania. This does not remind me of one of those that you just, oh my gosh, I have to see this!
Neither one of these teams are really great on the mic like Hulk Hogan was.
True.
An Ultimate Warrior.
Well, he was interesting on the mic, to say the least. Yes. But you're right. I think that, both teams are understated because they take, they're very similar to their head coaches. The Harbaugh brothers, are kind of blue, they're tough guys. These guys are going to be prepared. They're no nonsense, and so that's why you probably don't have a lot of. If Rex Ryan had a team in the Super Bowl right now,
you don't have the big quarterbacks like the Brady, Manning, Favre, Rodgers, Breeze. You don't have the big name quarterbacks, Montana, Young, whatever.
How about this? This is the first Super Bowl in, I believe, a decade now that hasn't featured Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, or Peyton Manning in the AFC.
Wow.
So we're definitely in uncharted waters. Joe Flacco has risen to the challenge and has got the Ravens there. Make no mistake about it. The Ravens offense, led by Ray Rice, led by Anquan Bolden, and of course
Torrey Smith, Dennis Pitta,
and Joe Flacco himself. This guy has got this team to this point, and you don't want to harp on a team. They earned their way here. We talked a lot in years past about the Giants at 9-7 as a wild card team getting there, and as the Arizona Cardinals and as the Packers in 2010, they earned their way there. They get there, they deserve to be there. There's no doubt.
Oh, they definitely deserve to be there. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get the running game going. I have my doubts. I think the 49ers have too stout a front seven, and they're going to try and spread them out, 3 wide receiver sets with Bolden, Torrey Smith, and Jacoby Jones, and then work Dennis Pitta against those linebackers for the 49ers and see how that works for him.
Now,
letting Joe Flacco throw the ball.
Sorry, Noah. How big is the presence of Jefferson City's own Justin Smith going to be in this game? Of course, he's from Jeff City. He went to college at Mizzou. Everybody knows his story. But how big is his presence going to be if he's healthy or not?
Well, he said, I read something today that his tricep is about 50% torn. So it's going to be interesting to see how effective he is, because if he's effective, that allows Aldon Smith to be effective as well. Since Justin Smith's injury, I believe, maybe 6 weeks ago, Aldon Smith has 0 sacks.
And he could have easily, Aldon Smith was on pace to...
I believe through the first 14, he had 19 and a half sacks. So.
And then nothing, very little after that. So
0 since.
He could have easily been the sack leader this year. He did not quite accomplish that. Von Miller, of course, playing great down in Denver. But this is
definitely Justin Smith and Aldon Smith work as a pair and help each other and work off each other.
Let me ask you this: when we're talking about the Super Bowl itself, this is the game, the show, the showcase of the immortals. It's the Super Bowl. Does that get lost in today's NFL because of how people treat this as a national holiday and they have Super Bowl parties and it's as big, it transcends the game? But when it comes down to it, this is the NFL championship. But do you think there's something lost in that with the glitz?
We had a Chiefs fan earlier this year say it's just about the money and commercials. I don't even care about a Super Bowl. I mean, what? I don't understand.
Right.
This is the dream for all NFL players, all NFL fans, to be in the Super Bowl and hold that Lombardi trophy.
But do you think the glitz is over the top, or do you think that's just part of it and that makes it what it is?
I think it's over the top with the commercials and how it's a holiday, it's a big party. I mean, I'm really there for the game. The food's a nice added plus or whatever. I don't really care about the commercials. It's not my kind of humor.
Beyonce at halftime doesn't sing to you?
No, halftime's awful. I mean... we need Michael Jackson or I don't know. They're just going to have Bieber. I don't know who's Alicia Keys or whatever.
I think it's Beyonce this year. We're very excited about that. I don't know if it's going to be live or Memorex or Beyonce. We will certainly see. But yeah, I think that there is a point. And how many? Giving me a percentage. What percentage of people do you think that are going to be watching this game did not watch the AFC or NFC championship games?
That's tough. I'd probably go high 50%, maybe into the 60s.
I think you're right. I would have said about 50% of people that just come
along. They're Super Bowl, big party,
right?
Okay, yeah, food.
Because it transcends the game.
Funny commercials, yeah.
It transcends the game. This is bigger than the sport itself, and get lost in that is the fact that this is for the NFL championship. This is the game, the biggest game played on planet Earth every year. That's it. Everybody's dream. When you're talking about a fan saying it's too over glamorized to even want your team to be in it, well, that's just ridiculous. Because
you might as well just not even be a fan. What are you doing? I don't even know.
Well, if it's a Chiefs fan, then they're certainly if they don't like Super Bowls, then they're a fan of the right team at least.
That's a good point. So, I love Super Bowls.
That fan won't have to worry about
Super Bowl championships, and I'm a fan of the Chiefs. So what am I doing here?
Well, hey, we're going to bring up all this and much more. We're going to go ahead and bring on our buddy, the man, the best, Sean Salisbury. All right, and joining us once again here on the Outsiders Podcast, Clint Schweitzer and Noah Groniger coming at you as always. Sean Salisbury is on the line, and Sean, we know you've been down in New Orleans this week. Kind of give us a rundown of kind of the atmosphere you felt, and also let us know how many hurricanes you've had this week.
Oh, I'm not a big drinker, man. A lot of good food, but those days are past me. I had a good time, had a lot of good fun, shared some great stories with some old friends and new friends alike. But enjoyed a lot of work to do down there, a lot to get done in New Orleans, and also was able to get done some business, but have some fun at the same time and focus on things that needed done. But I'm sure those hurricanes looked good and tasted good for some because I know people were putting them away. But great city for food and great people. As far as the atmosphere, it's interesting. I've never flown, and I know it'll be jacked up. I know that with all the things that are going on, Mardi Gras the week after this big Super Bowl, it sure seems understated. From when I got there on Sunday to Thursday, and I know it kicks in now as far as all the harder partying and all the fun things that go on and people starting to focus on the game. I've never seen a Super Bowl more subdued and almost empty than I have this year for the first 4 days. It was as if the city wasn't, it looked good and everything was clean and everything they were getting ready for it, but it wasn't crowded. Bars were not filled. Restaurants were not overbooked. Convention center and media day were not, oh my gosh, there's plenty of room to go. You didn't wait in lines for bathrooms. You didn't have to wait in long lines to get credentialed. It was kind of strange, to be honest with you. And I think it kind of takes on the personality of the teams for the most part, other than a few comments about being gay and the 49ers situation, about antler spray and deer antler spray and all that crap. I think it takes on the personality of the head coaches. I think this is the way they like it. It's kind of boring, focused on football, not a whole lot of talk. It's almost right now, even though it's Ray's last game supposedly, and Flacco's chance to be elite, and Kaepernick, maybe it'll gear up in the next day or so. It's almost as if, oh, that's right, we got a football game. And I'm excited as heck, but I've never been more, man, it's Thursday, and I can't believe it. So it's odd. It's kind of odd. It's almost like, before a tornado, everything kind of goes still, and it's kind of quiet and calm. That's kind of what it feels like here. And maybe that the whirlwind's going to hit inside the Superdome on Sunday, but nothing flashy about this one and nothing overly crowded about it, but we'll see what happens the next 3 or 4 days.
Well, and possibly the biggest storyline here, of course, other than the Ray Lewis stuff, and we really don't even have to get into that. To me, it's kind of overblown and overdriven. But
anything you want, man, you know that.
Hey, we appreciate it, Sean, as always. Of course, we have had the Ray Lewis talk, but of course, the biggest storyline has been the two coaches, Jim Harbaugh versus John Harbaugh. What sense have you gotten out of those two as far as which one you think maybe you're leaning towards as being the most prepared? Or, just kind of give us your thoughts on this storyline. Is this as big a deal as people are making it out to be?
Well, sure it is. Can you imagine in their own world? Think about it. Two brothers who grew up competing, a mom and a dad that are obviously proud. It's tough enough to get to one Super Bowl with one family member. They got two of them playing in the same game, coaching against each other. Not like one is an assistant, one is head coach. It's fascinating. Now, I might set all the storylines to go with it. Yeah, it gets a little old. It's Super Bowl hype. They always beat stuff up. But when you look at it, gosh, could you imagine if it was your kid or your two sons? How awesome would that be? So I think it's great. It's a feel-good story. The Beats talking about, the murder in 2000. The Beats talking about some guy, complaining about, having a gay person in the locker room, which is just as absurd and stupid that somebody would say something like that in this day and age. I don't understand the race, the gender, the sexual. I don't know why people still have a problem with all that and can't just live and let everybody love who they want and what color or sexual preference comes into it. It's beyond me, and I think it's just despicable how some of these people approach it, some of these football players, or just people in general. So it is one of the good stories, and it's one of the real good stories we've had in a long time. But it's a lot like these first few days of the Super Bowl, guys. I think they like it like this. It's guarded. They not talking about it. Everybody knows what it's about, but the only ones that are talking about it are mom and dad for the most part. Good for them. They ought to be proud to stand on a mountaintop and yell as loud as they can. It's their song. So they're not going to tell you much. I can guarantee you the one thing that won't happen is they won't go into this ill-prepared. So for any of us to say, well, who's going to be more prepared, I don't think there's any question. But a big reason these two teams are here is because of the preparation that they put their teams through. I think John probably allows his guys to police themselves more. A few more veterans on the team. You know what I'm saying? That he doesn't have to micromanage them, and he just kind of, he's there. But as long as they don't go behind John's back and do those things that some teams do to a coach, and whether they disagree or agree with John, I think when you bring it to him, he's like, okay, like some veteran coaches have always done with veteran teams. I've been on teams with a guy like Chuck Knox, who was my coach my rookie year, and Chuck pretty much let veterans dictate what went on, as long as they did the right thing. So I think John's a lot like that. And Jim, no doubt, will be prepared. Probably, one of those guys who's probably a little bit more into it because he comes from an offensive background as far as the hands-on X's and O's on the offensive side, because that's where he comes from. But they will both be prepared. They will both be passionate. I think it's going to be interesting as they're both very good under pressure and both competitive. But things happen in the course of a game. I'm anxious to see in a 3rd and 1 when they cross midfield or a 4th and 1 at the 39-yard line going in. I'm anxious to see who makes the first big mistake in clock or game management. I'm anxious to see who makes the first big call in game management, understanding, let's say it's first and goal or fourth and goal at the 1.5-yard line going in, 3 minutes before half, get it 7-3, and you got the ball near the end, you're down 40, you kick the field goal to get within one. Or do you have the guts in a big game like this to have, to have the stones and the balls to call a bootleg and get that big momentum switcher and get a touchdown? I think that's the fun things for me. And really, what may end up being the difference in the game is who has the guts or who has the wherewithal to back off when they need to and not be too excitable in a call like that, or who will just approach it and say, we're not taking points off the board. Who's going to be the more boring guy about it? And maybe boring's good when it comes to coaches' decisions on plays like that.
Sean, we've had questions into these playoffs about Colin Kaepernick, who has led his team to a 7-2 finish. Of course, we know what he's done in the playoffs. We had questions going in. Is it time for us to just throw our hands up and say, yeah, this kid can play, and yeah, this guy can win a Super Bowl, and just see how it plays out?
I think we kind of got to do that. We're always going to dissect and criticize, and he could do this better, could do that better. And it's real easy for us, or me as a former quarterback, or you guys as passionate football fans, or expert or media, and saying, everybody, right down the doggone guy who drives a team bus, to critique every single thing they do. If we're just going by results, damn, the guy's proved that he's got an unbelievable arm. He's proven that his legs can beat you. He's proven he's accurate with the football. He's proven the chip on his shoulder has been working for him. He's proved that he can come from behind and win a game. He's proven that he can throw an interception early in the game and overcome it. He's proven that he deals with adversity well, down 17-0. He's proven just about everything. Now, what he hasn't proven, can you walk down that tunnel while you're hyperventilating and wanting to piss down your leg in a game this big, regardless if you're a rookie, a second-year guy, or a 10th-year guy and never been in it? Can you calm your nerves? There's two things for me that I got to see from him in this game. I guess a lot of things, but things that I still haven't got answered yet. Can he settle down quickly? Because he's an excitable guy. A lot like Brett Favre in that manner. Favre could come out and throw 3 balls into the stands right off the bat because he's so jacked up, and then settle in because that was Brett's MO. That's how he played. Cap's got some of that in him, that excitable, man, his arm's so strong. If you're a 98-mile-an-hour fastball guy and you're pitching in the World Series, the first inning you may be overthrown out of the strike zone and throwing up about $1-1. You can't find the strike zone until you settle in the second or third inning. And when big throwers are like that and have that kind of excitable attitude, it's easy to see how you can get into it. Where Flacco, kind of boring, but he's played great football, nothing exciting, not going to run out and beat you with his feet, kind of understated, all shucks, just like his game's kind of like the way he's just kind of a boring guy, but he wins. And he's probably the most underrated and most underappreciated quarterback in this league right now. But with Cap, so that's the one. Can he settle in quick? I know he hasn't settled in overly quick in the first 2 games of the playoffs because they were down in both games. Can he settle in? I don't think he can go down 17 in this game, although he may be able to, and settle in late and all of a sudden wake up to the Super Bowl. You wake up and it's the middle of the second quarter, you're like, uh-oh. Now you start to press and start to do things. But he's shown nothing but great stuff, so that's one. To be able to settle in. And number 2, and now I'm losing my train of thought, it will hit me as I'm going on here, because it was something I really wanted to emphasize. Because as we go along, I'll remember what I was going to say about it, because it really mattered to me, I guess. But he, to be able to settle in and do, okay, here's what it is. Can he, guys, we haven't seen him play out in front in the postseason, have we? We talked about he's dealt with failure early in a game. Now, what happens if they come out and they jump out 20-0? How we handle that now? So there's a lot of times we look at a quarterback or an athlete and say, man, so good at dealing with pressure, so good at dealing with failure. He's overcome adversity, and he's done that. But let's see now, how does he deal with success in the big game? Everybody's talking about how great he is. Now let's go in the game. Let's say they start off in our head 17-0 in San Francisco. Now can he settle in and sustain it for 4 quarters when everything's going great, and maybe lose his focus or his concentration? So that's the other one. Can he settle down quickly, and can he overcome or still sustain it if they have early success to the point where they're up 20-0 and he's not facing any adversity early? Does he get too comfortable? I think those are 2 things that we can keep an eye on and watch early in the game and possibly watch late, depending on the start of the game for him.
Well, looking at both defenses, they have big physical front sevens. Do you think we're going to see these quarterbacks put the ball in the air early and often more than people expect?
In games like this, I was approaching from 2 different ways. If if I'm the 49ers defense, and the truth is, guys, as good as the Ravens front seven has been over the years, their offense carries them now. Defense is good, but defense isn't, oh my gosh, they're the bully on the block. The bully on the block will be in gold and red in this game. Whatever, and they're the better front seven. They're younger, more explosive. They're still really good players on Baltimore, but it's switched now. If the offense on Baltimore doesn't, I don't believe the Ravens can win. If Flacco has an average game, Baltimore's not winning. Unless Kaepernick throws 5 picks. But you know what I'm saying. He's got to play well. It's not like the 2000 Ravens or early 2000s Ravens where they can overcome 2 or 3 picks and settle in and their defense will get a touchdown or 2. They can be run on. And they can be pushed around up front. And they've given up a lot of points. And the 49ers have given up some, 21 or 24 and 31 points or something here in the postseason. So you can score on them too. But I like the front seven and the defense overall of the 49ers better. But yeah, I think that I like to attack. I don't want to play safe. I don't want to play not to lose. And I think that a game like this, you can. I believe Denver played not to lose in the late second half of that game against Baltimore. And playing not to lose will do just that, prevent you from winning. And so I'm anxious to see if they attack. Flacco's been great throwing the ball down the field. Both run games have to get a little mix for play action. But guys, the difference between these two is the Baltimore Ravens are aggressive. They want to run. They want to chase. But I would misdirection them some. I would change the aiming points for my quarterback. I'd boot him out. I'd set him in a pocket. I'd run a quarterback draw. First 15 and 18 plays, I'd script him, and I'd run a different formation for 18. Now, I made the same play twice. But it would look different information. I would see how Baltimore adjusts, and I would make them have to defend the entire field early, just on formations alone and Kaepernick moving, so they can't get comfortable and say, we're going to attack now, so they can cautiously attack. On the other side, I think for San Francisco, you know where Flacco's going to be. You know where Flacco's going to be. I would not allow the big play to break my back. If they're going to get a big play, they're going to be on a screen or a hitch route where somebody misses the tackle and they run for 40. I can't let Torrey Smith or Anquan Bolden get by me in single coverage and change the course of a game. I'm going to make you grind it out. The 13 plays, 77 yards. They grind and grind and grind and struggle your butt off to get in the end zone. I cannot allow Flacco to drop back in his own 17, man coverage, play action, and I bite on the play action as a safety, and Torrey Smith runs by for an 87-yard touchdown, and all of a sudden, I'm trying it out of my knee, and I'm not sure how to adjust. So, they look to prevent the big play. San Francisco's ahead of the game. If they can make them grind, San Francisco's ahead of the game. If they don't hit Flacco and Flacco makes big plays early, San Francisco's in trouble. On the other side of that, be shocked if Frank Gore has a chance of taking over this game because we still don't talk enough about how important he can be in the game. And the greatest mismatch in the game, guys, and it's not close, is Vernon Davis on that defense. I don't know how you're going to defend him. Because if you go small, meaning when I say that, folks at home, it's if you go nickel, you bring a third corner in, or you go nickel or dime, you're going small, meaning you want coverage, you want somebody who can cover more. He's going to physically manhandle, and then you also have the ability for him to block in the run game, and now they can pound it if the Ravens go small. If the Ravens stay with their base defense and go big, have a linebacker cover Vernon Davis or a strong safety, they can't do that. He's too fast. So I think it's a precarious problem and a really interesting matchup situation that if I was Roman and I was the 49ers, I would attack from the get-go, but I'm with you on the question 100%. Old Oakland Raider style. Come out of the first thing on defense. I'm not so sure I wouldn't take a personal foul call early to send a message. I'm serious. Not to hurt somebody, but guy cross your face, maybe hit him a little harder. Maybe stick it out there where you get a little tempers going a little bit. Raiders used to love to do that when Stabler and that group was playing. And it's the same thing the Raiders used to, and the Steelers did too, when Lambert and that group was playing. Same thing. Raiders used to love to come out and go deep early. Now you walk the team back, you stretch them out a little bit, they're a little nervous, you're going to run by them. Now you can start throwing slants and hitches. I'm a guy that believes in aggressiveness early to see how people are playing and how they're going to play me. I don't like overly safe, too cautious of football because then it gets you out of your rhythm and the way you've played all year long.
Sean, one player in specific I want to ask you about is Alex Smith, a guy who had success early this season and last with the San Francisco 49ers. And obviously, I'm sure you saw him at Media Day. He looked very docile, looked like he didn't want to be there answering the questions. What do you think he's going through right now, and what do you think is going to be his fate come next season?
Hey, Brandon, though, guys, you know what? All these people, well, that's not a real team player if you're frustrated. No, I look at it the opposite. I look at it if you're content and everything's okay because you got benched and you're just happy to be there. I think it's BS, and I think that proves to me you're not a competitor. I think he's handled it like a charm. It can't be easy. And you know what? Every single person who's ever played this game, unless you're a coward and don't want to play because you're afraid to be exposed in the game, when you're on the sideline, everybody says, man, wouldn't it be kind of be okay if maybe he bumped his elbow for a series or two, not hurt him, but I could get in there and maybe get some rhythm going. Or, man, what if we're down 2 touchdowns and he throws a pick and then they need a bit of momentum? You know, you go through all these things. Who doesn't? Man, if you don't, you're not human. That doesn't mean you wish your team to lose. Doesn't mean you hope the quarterback gets hurt and blows out a knee and then I get my job back. None of that. But it's human nature for him to be docile and bummed. Who wouldn't? Now, if you're just, hey, happy-go-lucky, happy to be a good, you support Cap, you support him, good. Put your arm around him, tell him everything you can what you're saying. But in the process, damn, I know a couple guys, I'll leave their names out, that got hurt before the Super Bowl, played most of the year, got hurt, missed the Super Bowl, won't wear their Super Bowl ring because they didn't feel part of it. It's an interesting dynamic how professional athletes are, and that thing that makes them great. Sometimes you feel left out. And I know this, when you get hurt and you're in the training room, everybody forgets about you. They just keep everyone moving on. And it's a similar situation. He's out there and he's ready to play, but all the focus is on Cap, and you're not the guy who's starting, so it doesn't matter. But I'll tell you when it does matter, if all of a sudden something goes on in the middle of the first quarter, the quarterback gets hurt, watch how important you become. Now that's the part I'm leading to. I don't blame him one bit for being bummed, but he's got to stay focused, guys. You absolutely have to prepare for this, that you are going to play. And it's the same for Tyrod Taylor. Now, if both quarterbacks were to go down or struggle, obviously advantage San Francisco. But you think about this is a strange dynamic when, you know, you want your best players out there, and he's not going to, you know, Kaepernick's not getting benched even if he throws 3 picks in the first 8 seconds. Jim's going to let him finish the doggone game. But as a backup, you don't get much work. You know that you're not getting work. It's still the biggest game of your life because you're on the field, and you are simply it sounds so cliche, but you're a thumb on a helmet away from God in the world to see and millions of people, and your teammates looking at say, you've been on the bench for now 10 weeks, dude, 11 weeks, you ready to come back in and do this thing, 12 weeks, we need you to be the Alex Smith 100 passing rating and a Pro Bowl type numbers the first handful of games of the season. We need that guy. Physically, I have no problem. It's going to be okay. My concern, and I've posed this question all week long in New Orleans to friends and people, what if he has to play emotionally? I shouldn't say has to play, what if he gets to play? I'm sure that's the way he thinks. Emotionally, is he ready? Not mentally, not physically. Emotionally, is he ready? But all of a sudden, when his gut perks up, and I say, Alex, you got to go. Cap can't go. To perk up and be ready to go and go in there and do the things. Because you don't expect a Super Bowl, you're not expecting your backup not to lose it. You're expecting your damn backup to go in there and win it. You know, and none of this we're going to change the plan. You go play. And I'm anxious if that were to happen. What a weird twist of fate. But will he emotionally be? Tyrod Taylor never expects to play. He didn't expect to play for years because Flacco's been taking every snap. In Alex Smith's case, he's been up, and now he's down. And how do you shift into that, oh my gosh, now I'm the man again, if that were to happen? Now, 49er fans don't want to hear that, but it's very real when you're playing against a team that hits, and you're playing against a team that, and the quarterback that you're backing up will get out there and take hits. So it's pretty strange, and if you're him, I'd be just as nervous and prepared going into this game if I was a starter, because it can be one of those, here it goes, he's back. I don't think he's going to be a 49er next year. As a matter of fact, I would be shocked. He'll be a starting quarterback in Kansas City or in Jacksonville or, one of 3 or 4 or 5 Arizona. Who knows? But he's going to get his chance to play again. The guy's a good football player. Unfortunate how it happened, but the 49ers are starting the right quarterback on Sunday. They made the right decision.
Skip Bayless came out with an article maybe a couple days ago talking about getting rid of the place kicker in football. Maybe having the team punt it or go for it on 4th down and go for it 2-point conversions every time. His reasoning to let the real football players decide it on the field. What are your thoughts?
Well, I guess we should probably let the real analyst break down football that actually played it, right? Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should just go replace the seat he sits in and put somebody in there who actually had to kick a field goal or actually had to make a tackle. And actually, he called them the real football player. I didn't see it. Is that what he called them, the real football players?
Yeah.
They would just eliminate the real. Okay, well, that's good. It's amazing how the non-real football player is talking about the guy who is either got to win, kick a field goal, or kick something to help you win a game or not. And I know we all joke that kickers aren't real football players. Yeah, they're not real football players until it's 42-yard field goal with 3 seconds to go and you're trying to win a Super Bowl. Ask Adam Vinatieri about that and how lucky the Patriots are to have had him. So, and I like Skip. I have nothing. I've known Skip forever. But, if you're going to say that, you got to be prepared. There's people that are going to say stuff back. And to me, that's like somebody sitting there who's never played a down of football telling pro football players they're soft. Yeah, he's standing over there and then pushing computer keys in his mom's basement all night and doesn't know what's line to line up with a doggone flag on him and let alone a doggone pair of shoulder pads. So in the Skip case, when it comes to this, now the reason why I don't ever take some of this stuff seriously, I know he says it for ratings at Super Bowl week to get us to be doing just what we're doing, to talk about it. I love Skip. I love how he's a genius at doing stuff like this. Every now and again, he'll bring it up just to get people saying, what? And he's a master at it and one of the best in the business. But if you're going to call him real, if you're going to say a kicker's not a real football player, then it's really tough to have an analyst who never played a down of it to tell us who the real football players are. And he's a brilliant guy, but do away with kickers, really? Really, that's, put it this way. The world is a dumber place for us having talked about it. I award Skip Bayless no points, and may God have mercy on his soul, okay?
Okay, we've just worked in a Billy Madison reference, and I just could not be happier about that. Never thought that'd be possible with you today, Sean. I mean, we're talking about a guy that bet against Rocky Balboa in the latest Rocky movie, so... if you remember that segment, but
oh yes, I do. So I love the fact that I'd love to banter and battle with him. I know you kind of tell sometimes he does it to get a rise out of people, but if he does seriously mean that, then he just probably doesn't get it, and just keep writing that nonsense, and we'll keep responding to it and have some fun with it.
Well, Sean, before we let you go, we've got to get to the obvious here. Of course, we know you're a Vegas guy. You got to tell us where your money's going to play in this game, if there is any money on the line, or just a prediction. And would you ever take part in one of those crazy Super Bowl bets, like how long the national anthem's going to be, who's going to make the first catch, or is that just fool's money right there?
Oh, I think they're fun. I will not bet a dime for Vegas of that kind. I'll put my buddies, my sons and I may have a little bet and go for it. I'll have that, but money won't cross my hands to a casino in Vegas or a book area. That I won't do that. For this, I think the point split's still 3.5, if I'm not mistaken. I hate that half point. I think this is actually a field goal game. I really do. I think it's going to be that close. Now it could be 27-24, 24-20. I don't think it's a game that's a 10-3 game, and I don't think it's a 37-34 game, but somewhere in between. I love the prop bets. I think they're fun. They're fun. And the one prop bet that's really, it's kind of unfair. And actually, you can kind of cheat on it. If you're Alicia Keys' friends, and you used to hang 100 of her friends, and they say, we're going to go bet $5,000 a piece on the length of the national anthem, can't she control it?
Yeah,
it's true.
Unless we're lip syncing again now, and they've already pre-taped it. Can't Alicia Keys? I mean, I know she was having fun with this, but in truth, if you're the star that's running it, if I was her buddy, can't I call and say, hey, Alicia, how long are you going to play this thing? Sean, I'm thinking it's going to go about 3:05. Okay, cool. So if I take the under and bet $10,000, are we good with this? Promise? Yeah. Okay, I'm in. So why? I mean, that's one kind of. That's kind of a rigged bet if you're one of her girlfriends or one of her buddies, right? I mean, you can win that one. So as long as you're in the loop, but I think it's fun. Who's going to score the first touchdown? Who gets the first down? Who makes the first catch? I think if you like the bet, you throw it out there on all of them. But I think this is going to be a real physical game and fun. I'm taking the 49ers. When all said and done, I just think they're the better team at each position overall. And I do believe that the quarterbacks will play well, but one of them will make a mistake along the way that'll cost them. And get a load of this, and I've been thinking about this all week. I think it's going to come down to a field goal, and I think David Akers wins it and validates Jim Harbaugh's ability to not cut him. And I think it's a weird twist, like a lot of these twists we've had. And I think David Akers walks off that field, and Harbaugh's hugging him and kissing him on that dog on top of his head, saying, "Thank you, I believed in you." And that's the message. And one of the final pictures we see is the field goal kicker late, whether it's with 2 seconds or 2 minutes to go. I think David Akers validates Jim Harbaugh's decision to keep him with the game-winning field goal at some point.
Well, I think that's a storyline we could all live with as far as what some of the other stuff we've heard down there. But, Sean, I'll tell you what, we hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. We appreciate your coverage this week. You've been around the media on CBS Radio. Just absolute great stuff as always. And, of course, we can't thank you enough for joining us. I just feel privileged I get to talk to you once a week because you are the man, Sean. So, hey, have fun.
Oh, thank you guys are great. Love coming on. Let's put a wrap on it next week. And any day you want to, and we'll talk about the post part of it. And maybe as we head into the draft and all that, we can talk about some free agent stuff. But let's do this. I hope you guys have an awesome Super Bowl Sunday and great weekend, and let's hope they actually keep kickers for this game. How's that?
Hey, yeah, I think we'll work on that. Hey, Sean, thanks a lot, man.
I'm honored, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Okay.
That is our man, Sean Salisbury, joining us once again, and I just can't fathom the fact that at the end of that, Sean, he just talks about wanting to come back on with us. He must just love talking to us, Noah.
There's one person at least. It seems like everyone else hates us.
True.
But we always got Sean Salisbury on our back.
He is the unofficial third outsider, and I would love to see a sequel to The Hangover made with us tagging along with Sean Salisbury out in Vegas or something.
It's gonna be tough. I don't know if he doesn't drink anymore, but we can definitely get in some trouble, some mischief out there. So.
I think there's definitely trouble for us to be gotten into, and just great points about the Super Bowl, about the game, about the storylines. I mean, he's just right on it. So.
And I guess we're gonna keep field goal kickers around, place kickers around for a little bit longer.
How about we're
not going to Skip Bayless on that.
He called out Skip Bayless a little bit.
Yep.
And those two work together a lot. I've seen them argue on ESPN a lot of times.
Yeah, there's a video of them together on the Budweiser hot seat. So.
Yeah, Sean, guys, if you're Sean Salisbury is flat out the best analyst in this business. I will stand by that.
Oh, by
I will
far.
take that
agree,
to the grave with me. I will take that anywhere. I'll tell that to anybody that I cross. He is the best. You can dog him all you want about any past indiscretions this guy's had, but the fact is, he is a good guy and he knows this game better than all of us.
Oh, I mean, definitely. I mean, you cannot find anyone better. I mean, we've had tons of guests on, and we've been looking for somebody that can really be our go-to, our big gun, if you want to say that. And Sean Salisbury's it. We found him, and he's been on probably 5 times now, and we're going to keep having him on because he's just the best.
I'll have him on to talk about anything he wants to talk about. I mean, any sport, anytime, anywhere, the guy just knows it. And we just can't appreciate it enough, guys. We hope you guys are pumped for the Super Bowl. We want to know. Come to our page. Let us know where you're watching it. Let us know what's going to be to eat. Let us know what you guys got going on for that, because we love interacting with you fans. It's just our lifeblood.
Yeah, and you can post all over our page. You don't need to ask permission or anything. You can post away.
No, we don't consider that advertisement. Come post anything you want. Pictures, links, whatever. We love to see them all, and we appreciate all that. Noah, as you look at this, the Super Bowl's upon us here in just a couple of days. It's the last football game of the year. Are you thinking, wow, it's okay, baseball season's coming up, or are you just devastated?
No, I'm excited for baseball. I mean, Royals got Shields and some other guys there.
Oh, it's going to be a riot.
Oh, I hate baseball.
So I think then it is safe to say that, it's going to be an interesting offseason. We're going to have a lot coming up with the draft, a lot coming up with college basketball, and on into the future. So we appreciate all you guys for listening to us. Our Super Bowl Super Show now in the books. We want to know what you guys think. Who's going to win this game? Come hit us up at the Outsiders Podcast. All of our social media, it's all there. Just search. Google it, baby.
Sean Salisbury!
I love him!
Yes, he's the best!
Oh, he is the best in this business. I swear that guy's the best.